Hi, everybody. Jay Julio Vela here for the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association's Reasonable Doubt with the one, the only Justin Harris on the screen.
There are two Justin Harrises. What's up? There's one Justin Harris in San Antonio, and there's one Justin Harris in Houston. I'm the Justin C. Harris.
Mr. Charles.
What's up, man? How are you, JV?
Mr. Charles. Oh, good. And also, back again, Adam Corral.
Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming, Adam.
On the live wire, we got Sean Darvishi. Give a holler to your fellow brethren. Max.
What's up, Sean?
Max Rabinovich, where you at? Andres Fernandez, bro. We'd like to hear that, some perspective from you. Today, I think we go ahead and start with the district clerk and then work our way down.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about that?
What part? What are we talking about?
Well,
catch me up.
Supposedly, this is
catch the viewers up.
This is what I hear. That there's some sort of rally cry to the jurors as they're about to exit the jury assembly room and enter the courtroom. There's a rally cry of protect the victims, swift justice. Let's go. This is when we played the game telephone. By the time it got to me, this is what I heard had happened, and a mistrial had occurred. Everything I just said is hearsay, but you know, you get to judge how much it weighs. But this is what's going on in a mistrial, and Judge Bell says, you know what, no dice. Sean Buckley and his co-counsel, who was his co-counsel? They got a mistrial. It's awesome. That's what I hear. What have you heard?
So what is this? This rally cry was when the panel of 35-65 folks was coming over to the courthouse.
Ronnie Yeats in the house. Ronnie Yeats in the house. I don't know. Maybe Ronnie Yeats. Oh, look. Sean Darvishi says Chris Daniel never felt like a problem in the way old Maryland does. You know? Hey, that's Sean Darvishi. Hey, wait. I like it. I like it, Sean. That's good. What says you, Justin? I mean, you haven't heard anything about this?
Man, I've been so I did that trial for like a week that went longer than it should have, and I went straight to Rusty Duncan. I haven't even been able to check my email in like 2 weeks. So, no. Tell me what's going on. So, okay, but are you saying that this happened like when the panel was going over or when there was already a jury of 12?
No, it's like, yes, it's when the panel's going over. So the panel, you've been called to the XXX number.
The 339.
The 339
District Court.
Come on down. And as we leave,
So when did the trial started, a jury got sworn, and then this came out, and the judge granted a mistrial at that point? Or?
I don't know. If somebody knows more than that, please chime in on the live wire or give a call at
Sean's been on our show multiple times.
807-1794. My eyes are terrible.
Yeah. Surely Sean Buckley is watching our show right now. I know he watches every Thursday. Call in, Sean, and tell us what's going on.
Well, I'm sure Jimmy Ardoin knows.
Yeah, that's the problem. I've heard. What was it? In Fort Bend a few years back, which probably means more like 7 or 8 years back, some bailiff went down to the jury assembly room and was like, you know, because they're taking, I think it was Fort Bend, they're taking jurors for civil and family and criminal cases all on the same day, like they do in Harris County. And I think the bailiff was like, oh yeah, come on, we got a criminal case, 35, and he's taking them up. And then I don't know, said something to him like, yeah, it's a criminal case, so I just got to go find him guilty. And he was joking, but it was in a court that at the time was not friendly at all to the defense. But even that judge, when I recall, like dismissed the entire like everyone that came down that was in that room, and it burned a whole day of jury service in Fort Bend. So, I mean, I've heard of those kind of things happening before. And I remember when I've appeared for jury service in Harris County, there's like slideshows and presentations by advocacy groups, like lobbying groups, let's just call them that, that, you know, supposedly support victims' rights and children's rights and things like that. And they run these ads that I think are, you know, tainting a jury pool before they even come over and know what kind of case they've got. So if that happened, good to any judge that said, no, this is not going to create a fair trial for the defense. Couldn't even affect the fair trial for the state.
One of the questions I had was, is this rally cry happening only during this week of juror celebration, or is it something that has happened in the past that very well affects these other cases that may be had? What do you think? Do you know? Is it just like, hey, I think it's more of, hey, it's jury celebration week, let's have some speakers. That's kind of what I got. So I don't think it goes any further than that. What have you heard, Adam?
Maybe not.
As my understanding is, just during a jury appreciation week, you have the speakers come in and just talk to the jurors. I think some of the quotes, well, Houston Chronicle's words, in quotes, say that this family would not have been given justice that they deserve without you guys, without your help, without your service. One of the quotes I was given by one of the speakers during this week-long jury appreciation deal.
I mean, and who was it? There's a
okay,
video
so Adam,
when
when JB and I are just talking and we don't know what the hell we're talking about, just interrupt us and go, guys, I have the information. Like, we rely on you.
Got it.
So
I didn't know. I mean, that doesn't need to happen, right? Am I crazy? Am I not crazy? Is that is that statement too much?
Not in the jury room.
Well, quite frankly, that statement on face value doesn't seem too bad. But when you figure out the implications of what that actually does to people and how they now enter the courtroom, the sanctuary, it affects how they look and perceive things, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to affect. I'm thinking more like maybe they're not thinking about it at the beginning and during a trial, but like when they go into deliberations. I mean, Adam, the quote that you read was something along the lines of like, "This family thanks you. They're not going to get justice without you guys," or something, right? So that means I'm making a bunch of assumptions here, but this was like a victim, a family of a victim. And the only way that family is going to feel justice is if the defendant is evicted. That's not a jury's job. A jury's job is not to convict somebody. A jury's job is to follow the law, follow the evidence, and convict the person if the evidence proves they're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, each and every one of them. But that's their oath, not their job. But I think that's going to, I would think about that when I'm back deliberating. Like, oh, gosh, remember that guy like 4 days ago who came and spoke to us? What do I think about that family? Even if it's not this case, but that's, I don't know. I'd like to know if the case, do you know, Adam, the case that went to the 339th, was it the one that that person was speaking about?
I don't know.
That I do not know, unfortunately.
I would hope that whoever sets this state jurors appreciation week speaker list up, if they got somebody who's like involved in a case that's currently pending, that should just be a red flag right there. There's plenty of people who come talk about how jury service is important. I got every client that's been found not guilty by a jury would be happy to come and talk during jury appreciation week. And I know JD and Adam, y'all probably have clients you could line up and talk about how important juries were in our clients' lives and found them not guilty.
Ronnie Yeed says, what about saying there's countless numbers of people found not guilty by jurors across this country who are later exonerated? Oh, we got a phone call. Hey, who's calling? Caller.
Whoa.
Hey, guys. This is Gary Kabachman. I was one of the lawyers.
Yes.
What's up, Gary?
It was Gary.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Hey, so I know that idea had to have come. You and Sean are hanging out, and then you just are like, you know what? This is messed up, and then you just make it, right? Is that how it happened?
Well, so we initially saw that Murray had posted this stuff early in the morning, and we automatically realized that this may have impacted our panel. And initially, we were a bit apprehensive about addressing the issue because we were pretty confident in our case to begin with, but then we quickly realized that if we don't put this on the record and our case goes south, we may expose ourselves to some IAC claims. And we realized that this is something that we definitely need to address. I think that the videos, and I don't know if you guys have seen them as far as, because they've been taken down now, the videos themselves were pretty egregious as far as what was said to the jury veneers over at the jury selection, or over at the jury building.
I haven't seen them. I wish I had clicked on the link when they were still up. I assume they're there somewhere, stored digitally, right?
I have a copy of them. Basically the gist of it is that you had news reporters, which I would consider to be sort of local celebrities, coming in to talk to potential jury panels about the fact that victims' rights have been put on hold for too long. And we now have an opportunity to where your jury service is so important here today to be able to address issues within our community where people have been waiting long to be able to have their cases heard in court, not from a defensive perspective, but from a perspective of victims' rights. And primarily the issue that we had with it was that they brought up specific cases that have been recently tried where individuals were convicted and found guilty and sent to prison. And it became almost this pep rally and cheerleading event, literally, with Texans cheerleaders standing in the back behind Ted Oderberg.
Get out! I thought those were metaphors.
No, that's not a metaphor. It was literally the event that took place before an entire panel of jurors that are about to go into courtrooms in order to hear potential cases and potential violent cases or murder cases or felony cases. And it's incredibly disconcerting if you take it in the context of what jury service should be like.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I honestly, the more you're talking about this, I think that whoever thought that bringing
Oberg knows better.
Level of celebrity.
Oberg, you know better, bro. Oberg, you've been around forever. You know better, Oberg.
He's been writing a story about this.
He does.
This is someone in the district clerk's office. That's the duty of the district clerk, is to maintain the sanctity of the jury. Brazoria showed us the wrong way of doing that, but this is another wrong way. I think Jury Appreciation Week should be like donuts, something that no one finds objectionable. But this was a no-brainer bad idea.
Were you seating the jury, or had the jury been sworn when you made this motion? And did you make it in the morning?
Well, no. So what happened was, and the unique part about our case is specifically that we were 16 witnesses into what would have been 17 witnesses for the state. We were about a week into trial, and we were at the tail end of the case. And so this is what makes this particular trial so unique, because to call a mistrial at this stage in the proceedings based on what had occurred is incredibly rare. Mm-hmm. And I think Judge Bell was apprehensive in doing so to begin with, until she realized that in order for her to be able to make this right and to give the jury an instruction based on what they had already heard, too much time had passed, because we'd been in trial for about a week now. And based on the fact that we've been in trial for a week, the jury had already been tainted to such a degree to where no instruction could have cured what they have already heard.
Was there a voir dire of each individual juror?
Not with respect to this issue. And she was apprehensive in doing that. And I think the reason being, and our objection to her doing so, was because exposing them to the fact that something of this nature may have occurred would one either may potentially remind them of the fact that this was what they were there for, And two, if there was a juror in there that may have not been paying attention or heard this, it may have put them on notice of the fact that they were there to do a duty of finding somebody guilty. And so he was apprehensive in exposing the jury to the events that had occurred about a week ago.
What were the DA's responses to this motion for mistrial?
Well, the bottom line is, just like everything else, their response is that this is harmless, and that basically we had
They
a
can't
panel
honestly
that
believe that. Did they make that with a straight face, bro?
Absolutely, and the reality behind it is that their position is that this is harmless because we had an opportunity to vote hire these jurors. They were asked about their biases. They were asked about prejudices, and that the judge that picked the jury and both the state and the defense had an opportunity in order to navigate this space to avoid any sort of issues with respect to this matter. But the reality behind it is, and the point that we made to Judge Bell was that, you know, in the context of what this was, if you had, for instance, had Michael Morton come into a jury room and talk to jurors about wrongful convictions in the state of wrongful convictions or the percentages of wrongful convictions, and that their jury duty was there in order to protect defense-oriented individuals or people that were potentially looking at going to prison, that they were there to protect their rights, their constitutional rights. If you want to tell me that the state wouldn't be jumping up and down saying that this is completely heinous and inappropriate, I mean, in essence, that's exactly the same thing.
That's incredible. I mean, you have to believe, number one, Ted Oberg knew better. Ted knew better. There's no doubt that he knew better than that. If he's the guy who said the things that everybody's saying that he said, right? Because I haven't seen the videos, right? So I don't know. I heard it was Ted Oberg. Maybe not. Maybe Ted just reported it. And I don't want to hate on Ted either.
It's two different reporters, and in my opinion, the reporter from KPRC, her statement may have been more egregious than Ted, in my personal opinion, and I will share them both with you so you guys can share them with HCLA because they've since been taken down. Which, by the way, in my opinion, the fact that Marilyn Burgess took the videos down clearly shows that they perceive this to be a major issue, and a major issue to such an extent to where they needed to clean the slate. And one of the major issues that Sean and I had with respect to this matter was the fact that this is an attempt by Marilyn Burgess to use taxpayer dollars to throw a campaign event for herself. And jury service is absolutely not the place to be used for that.
Absolutely not the place to be. Right. No, wait.
Why? I mean, why would bring cheerleaders and like news anchors and reporters to the jury assembly room for anything other than like a campaign event or a press conference?
Those were metaphors, bro. I thought it was a metaphor. I was like, oh, they were the Houston Texas cheerleaders were doing cheers, and then they were going go go go, and they were like, oh, support the state, support the state, support the state. I thought that was a metaphor, but apparently that's mind-boggling to me. Okay, Marilyn Burgess, there's no way she knew. Somebody had to have planned this and put her name on it, and somebody screwed royally up, I think. Because it couldn't be Marilyn.
We'd like to have her come on the show.
Well, look,
if she can come on the show, we'd love to have her come on and figure this out.
Our position is that they're not taking any responsibility for it. They have no PR that is handling this particular matter. They have not answered for it. Marilyn Burgess was sitting in the jury assembly while these speeches were going on, so she's well aware of it. She's in the background of these videos. I think that in the context of this notion of Jury Appreciation Week, it was a clear attempt to have jurors participate in a process that would portray Marilyn Burgess as being someone that was pro-criminal justice and specifically tough on crime, based on the type of speeches that were given. And I see a really big problem with this because obviously not only was this particular panel tainted, but we have heard over the course of the last few years that these events and there are certain issues that are happening within our jury panels that we're not privy to are concerning. And the question is what else is going on behind the scenes that we are not aware of?
How did this come to light?
So,
Somebody just happened to say this?
Wait, what? Murray posted something. My question, before you answer that, Gary, my question might kind of be part of that too. So you're saying videos of these were speeches that were being made live, and the jurors heard the speeches live, but they were recorded, and then those recordings were posted somewhere?
Right. So
is that right?
It's not that they were posted somewhere. It's that Marilyn Burgess herself or somebody on her staff had posted videos of these individuals making speeches during what was Jury Appreciation Week. So this was something that her staff had posted on both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter that had been.
So someone recorded like live speeches to the jurors. They weren't pre-recorded videos played for the jury. Okay, so
exactly. 100%.
What's the point of record? So if it's not a campaign event, why is an elected official inviting local celebrities and cheerleaders to a public county building and making videos?
I heard there was a buffet.
Well, exactly the questions that I think that should be asked. And in my opinion, and in me being involved in numerous grand jury investigations over the course of the years with respect to political related events, grand juries have been assembled for less than this type of event. This is something that somebody needs to look into, and I think that it should be concerning to everyone. I mean, she is an elected official that is hosting, in my opinion, what would be a campaign rally almost with county taxpaying dollars.
How many juries have how many panels have seen this and cases affected? 150, 200, 10?
Well, it's hard to say. And what Sean and I have done is, as of this morning, we have issued a subpoena for any and all communication between the district attorney's office and the district clerk's office with respect to this particular issue in any similar events that may have occurred since January. And specifically, we've subpoenaed Marilyn Burgess in order to answer as to how many events have been held or any similar types of conduct that has occurred over the last 6 months or so.
Wow.
What are you asking about the nexus between the DA and the district clerk's office, the district attorney and the district clerk?
Well, because homegirl, DA Ogg's been all over the press, you know.
I'm just letting the caller say it, JD. Like, Gary, why are you looking for communication between the district attorney and the district clerk?
Because you're acting all crazy.
Right, I mean, well, look, obviously for purposes of our case, I think it makes a difference. But in the grand scheme of things, I think that we need to be able to shed some light on the fact of whether or not the district attorney's office was aware of the fact that these events are taking place, whether or not they had any sort of participation or whether or not they had any idea that law enforcement officers or certain speakers were speaking to potential jurors that are coming up to hear criminal cases. Because if the district attorney's office was aware of this, then it was their duty to be able to communicate that to any potential judge or any defense lawyer, and it would have been important in any case, in any criminal matter, and for that matter of fact, honestly, in any civil matter. One of the
civil matters too.
I've talked to several civil lawyers about this. I mean, can you imagine if we had somebody that came in to talk to potential jurors about tort reform and how awful tort reform is? I mean, just the notion of anybody coming in to discuss an agenda from a one-sided view to potential jurors is incredibly egregious in the grand scheme of things of what jurors are assembled to do.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Okay, what did you make the argument in the morning before or during a break?
No, so we made the argument first thing in the morning. The judge decided that we're going to continue with trial for the time being while she had an opportunity to investigate. She did her due diligence. She spoke with lawyers that represent the lawyer representing the district clerk's office, the lawyer that represented district court judges, in order to get some context and more information in order to figure out whether our panel was in fact potentially infected by this information. Upon doing such due diligence, she came back and realized that our jury may have in fact been aware or been exposed to this information, and then allowed us to do some research in order to come up with case law or any potential arguments for what we may be able to do in this set of circumstances. And so we made our arguments, and again, our position was a mistrial was appropriate and needed in this situation.
Wow. Was he a guy on bond?
No, unfortunately, he's in custody.
Hey, where's that PR bond, Judge Bill? Where's that PR bond?
What kind of case was
Right,
it?
guys. So this is a murder case, and it's been pending since, it's an old murder case, yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Did you do it oral or writing?
We did an oral argument on this.
That's perfect.
We didn't have the opportunity or time. Yeah.
Well,
guys,
Did you get to talk to the jurors afterwards?
You know, we didn't have an opportunity to, and primarily that was more of a time constraint issue, more so than anything else. But we kind of let that sit where it was.
Sure.
Speaking of murder trials, there's one in the 351 that I heard there. I think they came back on 3 murders instead of the capital murder. And there was some other murder that was dismissed. It was a big...
Hey, guys, I'm sorry. It was great catching up with y'all, but I got to run.
Thank you.
To share some context
Gary,
with you.
call in anytime.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
Congrats, dude. Way to do it.
Always available.
See you, man.
Love you guys. Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
Other big wins.
Likewise.
Let's go through. There was something about a capital murder. Nollied. Did you see that? Let's see.
You know, I want to say something about what Gary said. So he said he was talking about Michael Morton coming, and Michael Morton is someone we've talked about a lot. We've had Anthony Graves on the show. We've had multiple people on the show over the years I've been working on it who were wrongly convicted, falsely convicted, whatever, where the system failed. Usually it's because somebody's not doing something that they're supposed to be doing, right? Someone's hiding something, not telling somebody something, and they're holding it back from the defense. But I don't know. I mean, if Michael Morton or Anthony Graves got to come down and talk to a voir dire, like a whole panel of, a whole room of future jurors, I mean, yeah, that might taint them. But if they're coming down to talk about, here's how important your job is to make sure that if you send somebody off, they're not innocent like I was. No. I don't think that necessarily, I don't know. I have to look closer at this, but the state does not have a right to a fair trial. Only the defendant does. Mm-hmm. Right? So if they come in biased against the state doesn't they don't have the 14th Amendment, the 4th Amendment.
Right.
None of those things protect the state. They protect the individual.
And a lot of times
we're the only one that has a liberty interest. The government doesn't have a liberty interest.
A lot of times you hear that, and the state has a right to a jury trial too. No, they don't.
They have a right to a jury trial. I disagree with that, but the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals has said they have a right to a jury trial. They've never
I've
said
seen
they
the
have a
opinion.
right to a
I've seen the
fair
opinion. I disagree with them.
I disagree with them too, but I think they do. It's settled at this point. We can disagree with it. There's a lot of laws I disagree with, but it's settled that they have a right to a jury trial. What they don't have a right to is a fair trial, because they're the state. Where you get the fairness in trial is in the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights and not
It's
just
for
the
the
Bill of Rights, but
people.
the amendments to the U.S. States Constitution, they're for the individual. They protect the individual from the
For the
big bad
people.
government or the big good government, but it protects the people. So I don't know, but let's see, Maryland or anybody who's in like,
So there you go. You're breaking up, Justin. You're breaking
does
up.
that mean
You're
for
you're
death
breaking up,
penalty
Justin.
twice? Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my internet tonight.
No, it
Sorry.
was cool. It was cool. I thought you were going to turn to a, what are the things called? Transformer? No, but no, just got same old Justin.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Hey, okay,
It's the
so.
Justin Harris from Harris County, not the one from Bexar County.
No, Justin, Mr. Charles. Yeah, right. I like it. I like Mr. Charles. What do you think? No?
I don't love any. I like Harris. I don't like Justin or Charles too much.
Harris. Harris it is.
Jay works.
Hey, Jay. Hey, big news. Wendy Pastorini, capital murder dismissed. That's pretty big.
Nice.
After a 3-year fight.
Yeah.
It's good. That's real good. Other big wins.
They dismiss those cases. They dismiss those cases because they don't dismiss that if there's like a little technicality. So Wendy did good. She found that needle in the haystack and showed the state that you got the wrong guy or whatever it was. So good work.
What else? What else? A lot of dismissals.
You keep breaking records on dismissals.
No way,
You broken
man.
your own record
No
yet?
way, dude. Marcos Adroga's just been killing it. Kelly Benavidez just been killing it. I'm looking for not guilties. You got one this last week. Hey, how was Rusty? How did that go?
It was good. I hadn't been before, and apparently this is the first time since COVID started they've had it. It was. You could tell there was like this big sense of everybody kind of coming back together.
Really?
It was really cool. It was very informative. Speaking of like wrongful convictions, man, I got to watch this. What is it on Showtime? This documentary series on called Outcry on the Greg Kelly case out of Williamson County, where Michael Morton got railroaded.
Is that the football guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy who was going to go play football.
Leander
but then
High School.
Some other kid, some kid said some other things about him, and then he went down, and then turns out that the cop was he was a one-town cop with limited resources, and the pressure to solve the worst crime. He went to the easiest person he could to go down for the crime. You know who he went to?
Well, the kid apparently. I haven't seen the documentary. I've only heard the defense attorney, and then I heard Mr. Kelly himself. He's like 23, 24 years, 25, 26 years, 27 years old, something. Kid talk as well. And the complainant, the victim in the case, said he, put his penis in his mouth. And he identified it. What it sounds like later on, based on investigation by the defense attorney, after a conviction and a 25-year sentence, it sounds like Keith Hampton, who understandably is Greg Kelly's superhero, and he called him that, and I thought it was a great analogy. He found that it sounds like this kid mixed up the person who did this. There were two people living in the house, and the kid didn't know one was named Greg and one was named, I should know the person who actually did its name, but I can't remember his name. But nobody, this poor kid. But it was cool. Rusty ended with his attorney, Keith Hampton, speaking, and then Greg Kelly getting up and talking. And this kid, he's started like a woodworking business. He went back to college.
Yeah,
he got to play football in college
somewhere.
after.
Yeah.
He spent 3 years in TDC, and then got completely exonerated. And he's bought a house. He's married to his high school sweetheart, who's a fitness athlete. And they have a business, and they bought a house in the town where he got this wrongful conviction in Leander. So, and his faith in God is stronger than ever, and their relationship is strong. It brought tears to my eyes. I was listening to it on the road back, but it was powerful and moving.
What was one of the most memorable CLE sessions you went to?
Oh, the ones on Monique Sparks did a great one on guns and gun rights. That one was really informative and really good, and I appreciated her approach. There was really good stuff. I attended the Capitol Death
Yeah.
CLE that preceded Rusty. That was really good. The speakers there, Pat McCann and David Ryan put on a great CLE for that. I look forward to going to that one again next year. I was really impressed with the women from Houston, the attorneys from Houston who showed up and spoke. We had some great representation there, and they were very impressive.
That's good. That's awesome. Did you have a lot of people from all over the state, or was it Houston heavy, Dallas heavy?
Yes. I think it was probably, the attendance was probably San Antonio heavy, just like, the Houston CLEs are Houston heavy. But the speakers were from all over. Houston, the Panhandle, Abilene, El Paso. I saw people from public defenders' offices from all over the state. I met people I had met before, Jerry Goldstein's house. There was a lot of San Antonio attorneys there. People I know before.
Is that where the party was?
A wide variety.
Is that where the party was?
That was one of the parties, yep. At his house.
The
Pachanga.
What was the latest you stayed up?
Well, okay.
No. Whoa, no.
I wasn't drinking. I wasn't drinking or anything. I had my family there with me, but I don't sleep well in new places. So the first night I didn't go to sleep till like 4 a.m. But that's just because I can't sleep in a new bed or a new place. So, but the hotel I could load my Netflix account on. So I just picked up from where I left off on some TV show.
What hotel did you stay at?
What do we do? The Sonesta.
Nice.
I got a great room.
Nice.
I recommend it to anybody.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really
I wanted
cool.
to go, man. I'm trying to experience it. I streamed it.
You gotta take the Sonesta. We got a 2-bedroom suite. So there were 2 rooms, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a huge living room, a full kitchen. You can take the whole Bella.
Yes.
And just have fun.
Robes, slippers.
They don't do that anymore.
No, you gotta request them, bro.
Thing.
You gotta request them.
I did.
Hey, where the slippers at?
Anymore due to COVID. I'm like, y'all got tired of stealing them. That's what it was. But I don't think I stayed in a hotel. Have I stayed in a hotel since COVID? I don't know, but they have new remote controls. They're like a special TV remote that's for sanitizing afterwards. I was impressed with what all kinds of stuff. This is one of my bigger excursions out into the world since COVID. Taking the family on a trip and staying in a hotel and doing the river walk.
Man, that's awesome. Who'd you go with?
I took my daughter and my girlfriend. It was a lot of fun. It's rusty. A lot of people take families, and families are encouraged. At least I was told that.
Mr. Charles, we should go, man. Next year, let's go, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll get the suites.
Yeah, bring the kids. There's a pool, and they just go have fun. There's all kinds of stuff for kids to do while we're in the conference learning.
Ronnie says Rusty was great. It was a record crowd. And
it was, yeah. Ronnie was there.
Oh, he said, and that the presentation was amazing. When you're talking about, I read the story, and I mean, like I said, I was streaming whatever I could stream. I was streaming, but that's awesome. Okay, so Rusty was a success. What other big wins? Any other big wins you've heard? I mean, we got your big win. What in the world took a week long for DWI, Justin? Justin Charles Harris. What in the world took a week long?
Well, okay. It was so Tuesday we started jury selection. We were supposed to start at 1, but I had some motions, so we started around 2:30 or 3. It went until about 5:30, just doing jury selection on Tuesday. Then Wednesday and Thursday was testimony. Then judge had a recess for Friday. We came back on Monday and got a verdict back at 8 o'clock. So 8 p.m. So it was
a day.
A couple hours on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Monday.
Any
3.5.
Did he give you time
But it's a
limit?
blood DWI with like, no, Judge Rodriguez, like, he was great in trial. Like, I always like to say to clients that a judge is supposed to be like a referee in a basketball game. You won't know they're there unless somebody's not following the rules, right? And Judge Rodriguez like lived that. You know, he let the state go as long as they needed to on anything, as long as they were, you know, moving the ball forward. He let me go. I gave the longest voir dire I've given in any case, including like sexual assaults, robberies, burglaries.
Did you do scaled questions?
Like, limited at like 30 minutes.
Do you do any scaled questions?
I have a couple that I use usually, but not like the, you know, it's better to let 100 guilty people go than incarcerate one innocent person.
It's actually
0 to 10.
Yeah.
What do you? I don't do those.
It's actually
but
37.
Not in this kind of. Not in this was a 37. That's the answer.
37. Yeah, it's better to let
That's how many
37
you
guilty
let
go
go?
free than to convict an innocent person.
Why 37?
The studies show 37 is everyone's favorite number. No, I'm making that up. I'm completely
No, I didn't.
making. I'm
I
completely
didn't.
making.
I
it
didn't
all
have
up.
any of that.
I'm completely making it all up. Okay.
I'm
What
not
else?
changing my scaled question. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. And so, any issues? Any legal issues? Or you just want it straight on the merits?
So one thing that I can't. Oh no, there was lots of legal issues. A lot of them didn't go my way, but the facts went my way, so I was fine with the legal issues not. But one thing that I don't, JB, I've tried a lot of DWI cases in Harris County. You know, Adam knows. I think most of our viewers know that under the now kind of defunct implied consent laws in Texas, there are requirements that have to be statutory requirements for a blood draw in a DWI case, right? Has to be drawn by a qualified technician or a qualified person in a sanitary place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we developed an issue in trial on sanitary place, and I had never heard this argument from the state before. But they started arguing that the sanitary place was the venipuncture site on the person's arm.
Give me a break. Are you
What
serious?
do you think the sanitary place is?
The freaking place where they drew the blood, not the spot where not where they. Yes,
the
not.
room.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Did you lose that?
Right.
Did you lose
it's the
that?
room. No, I think the judge knew it was supposed to be the room. But when I had the blood draw, the DWI technician that HPD employs to do the officer's job when they are not trained or they can't do it. And she was drawing the blood, and she testified, this was her testimony, the room wasn't sanitized. She would just say, you know, I look for like debris on the floor and blood, vomit, urine. And otherwise, if I don't see that, I don't change or clean anything. The blood draw video started, my client's blood draw video started with 2 minutes of the previous person in the room's blood draw. And we noticed that like nothing got changed or cleaned in the room.
That's
now, this
dirty.
all happened a few months before COVID.
That's just straight dirty.
Yeah. So we might be a little bit more like sensitive to cleanliness since we've gone through COVID.
Did that work?
But there's no state where the jury disregarded the blood.
Are you
So,
serious?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
The jury was appalled. They were appalled by the conditions in the blood room. They weren't as compelled by some of my contamination arguments, but you know, like I don't have the vial. We have a vial somewhere in here.
Did you
But,
you're telling me you nullified the jury?
No.
What?
My client was not intoxicated. The jury did what they were supposed to do. They found him not guilty of driving while intoxicated because he wasn't intoxicated.
Oh.
But the blood test showed that his alcohol level was a 169.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, well, then you should have won that, Justin. But that's what I'm saying. If the blood was a .169, how in the world are they going to disregard that?
So I had an IV tech on the jury, and I had 3 teachers on the jury, which was both of those were a risk. But my IV tech was giving me great answers in voir dire. And then we had an issue with the inversions of the blood vials. Mm-hmm. You know what an inversion is? Becton Dickinson tells you what an inversion is. This is an inversion. That's one inversion. And every single piece of literature that I had, that all their experts and everybody had, says you do that 8 to 10 times for each vial. This DWI evidence tech, what she did, she had 3 vials, and she was picking up each vial. When she'd finish one, she'd set it on the table, and she'd hook up the second one, and then she'd start shaking this one. And she wasn't doing like gentle rolling at first, she was shaking it. And then she picked up, when the second one got done, she'd pick up those 2 and do those 2. So the first one's getting shook as much as the second one now, too. Then she picks up the third one and she does it. And I had her count from the witness stand how many times. The manufacturer says 8 to 10. It doesn't say a minimum of 8 to 10 or at least 8 to 10. It says 8 to 10. She did file number 1 anywhere between 76 and 81 times.
And what you just say? Look,
like
she shook it too much.
Times.
You literally just said she shook it too
well,
much, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she shook it too much. She shook it too much."
The jurors said it.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Your training says 8 to 10.
That's incredible.
And let's count how many you do. And she's doing like all like this, like all around her back and looking at them. But yeah, and the jury was like, "No, that's no good. We just disregarded the blood."
No. Hey, Justin.
That's what they said.
Justin, who's the street angel? Chris Angel? Charles Harris. You know, the magician, who like floats and stuff?
Oh, the street magician?
Yeah, no, David Blaine.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult to compare me to Chris Angel or David Blaine.
Those guys are the best magicians on the planet.
I love that you have a best magician.
What, you think I'm still stuck on Lance Burton? Lance is old news, bro.
Is Lance Burton a magician?
Oh my gosh, you really don't know who Lance Burton is, bro?
I don't know who Lance Burton is.
Siegfried and Roy? Mm-mm. You don't even know who
I've heard of them. They have like tigers.
I think one of them was eaten. Eaten? I think one of them was consumed by the white tiger. Speaking of white tigers.
Partially.
But speaking of white tigers, I hear the ones downtown in Houston have never seen the sun. At the aquarium?
What?
At the aquarium.
What?
That's what I hear.
The aquarium?
Yeah, that they've never seen the sunlight.
Tillman, Bertina, let them get some sun.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That sucks. I hope that's not true.
I know.
Those used to be, I don't know. When I saw those tigers years ago, they were supposedly like only there between like cub stage and going off to like full-size wildlife refuge. But maybe that's like, my dad told me that the goldfish went to live at a farm or something when I was a kid. I don't know. That sucks. Tillman, let those tigers out. Not like on the streets of Houston, but, let them get some sun.
All right. Mac update. Mac update.
Right.
Is everybody getting paid yet by the Mac?
I got my check.
Oh, man, Justin just gets that little electronic buzz. It just goes bzzz, and then bam, county's paid. And it goes like bzzz, county's paid.
Don't you get that too?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
You get that too.
Hey, for anybody,
I've heard your phone buzzing multiple times.
For anybody billing the county, July 8th. So you got to realize it's July. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
Adam will tell you the date you need to get the vouchers need to be signed or presented. I believe it's July 8th. So this is your last weekend to bill.
Why?
Because that's when it's presented to Commissioner's Court.
Oh, for the next round?
On the Tuesday, and then you get paid. But July 8th, the presentment, but you're not getting paid till what? Is it July 21st?
For the ones that are in by July 8th, correct.
Is that right? Is it 21st? That might be too far out.
I'll double check.
Let me see.
July's a one payment month.
Is it really?
You only get one check from the county for helping. I think so. You only get one. July and December, like the months you only get one, right?
We're having a big break. It's like a 3-week spot. Like we're not, and that makes perfect sense. I don't have the.
Yeah. The commissioners, we get paid when the commissioners meet. They only meet twice a month. So, except for 2 months of the year, they meet once a month like this. I guess they got a summer and a winter break. It's a hard job.
You got it?
Yes. So, by July 8th for presentment, July 19th. The one after that is in by July 22nd for presentment on August 2nd. Of course, both of those pay paid next to.
See, we get a, so it's like it's like 3 weeks. What'd you say, July what for presentment? 8th?
July 19th, or July 8th for presentment, July 19th.
See, and so next weekend, unless you're doing vouchers or not celebrating America, I mean, you know, you're not going to get paid. It's going to be a short voucher. I think everything's been getting paid. Adam, have you seen any issues about any of your old vouchers?
Nothing major. I mean, it looks to be it's coming in pretty regularly now.
Good. What about you, Justin?
I need to do some. They're kind of stacking up.
Hey, bro,
don't makes it hard to.
Don't get behind on vouchers, bro.
Get them done.
Don't get behind on vouchers.
And I was so behind about a year ago. It took me a long time to get out of being behind. But I'm now dealing with ones that are roughly no more than 30 days old.
All right, let's move on to CJC progress. What do you see as the progress? Can we use the side elevators yet? I don't think we can.
Oh, you're talking about the construction progress. It's like, I don't think there's any progress going on at the courthouse. I don't know, but they have like motion sensor lights on those hallways. I've gone back into some of them, just kind of going around the side, and they're fancy. I'm gonna be curious how there's like key card access on all the doors now. So I don't know who's really going to get to use the elevators. I haven't seen where you get on them downstairs. So I don't know. Well, I don't understand why there's still like people on the district court side of the elevators. Have you figured out why there's people over there making us line up to get on an elevator and then like standing there like an elevator attendant and telling us how many can get on? But on like right next to that in the county court side, it's like a free for all. Anybody can get on whatever elevator, you don't have to line up. What is that?
Okay.
Do you have any idea?
Yes. Okay. This is my theory. Because nobody has to check in the misdemeanor court, everybody has to check in the felony court. And if you walk in, the misdemeanor side's almost always empty. The felony side, you look to the right, and it's just a snake of... Excuse me, I just sneezed on TV. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yes. Thank you so much. Hey. Yeah, on the misdemeanor side, there's nobody. On the felony side, there's everybody. Is that what you see?
That's what I see.
And so there's that. Every now and then you have the cops trying to do the line on the misdemeanor side. What else? ERD and associate judges updates. Anything on that? Go for it.
Tiffany Hill's a new associate judge, right?
Did she seat your jury?
No. Judge Rodriguez was it through and through. But I was thinking about this, with Kim Ogg, this stuff with Marilyn Burgess in the juror appreciation pep rally is kind of interesting because Kim Ogg's been out talking about like delay. Ted Oberg's been giving her a voice to say it, delays in justice for victims and all that. And now the county creates these emergency relief dockets. And if you're a juror that comes over and you get because those judges just pick the jury, right? Then you go back to the home court and the presiding judge of the court tries the case, right?
Yes. I don't think. The answer to your question is yes, but that person who sat the jury very well may be the one trying it too.
Well, if they get told this is an emergency relief docket, and I was selected as the judge to help get the backlog cleared, I feel like that's going to start triggering jurors of thinking of news reports about victims delayed justice. No one talked about defendants who are getting delayed in justice, but victim. I don't know. I think this whole I'm starting to rethink this whole ERD thing is played perfectly into the political hands of Kim Ogg, but I don't know. Well, they're not really pulling out as many guilty verdicts as I was afraid they would, so maybe it's not really working like you thought.
Well, right now, according to the scoreboard, they've since in 2022, 146 to 68. That means what is that like? It's like a 54% win rate, 55, maybe 60.
Give me the numbers again.
146 to the state, 68 for the defense.
146, 148. What is the first number?
146
to 68.
To 68.
Yeah, it's like a 46% acquittal rate. I don't think that's good.
That's terrible.
Like almost
That's
half
terrible.
the cases that
That's
they're trying,
absolutely terrible.
the defendants they're not being found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, I think the state needs to evaluate their cases better.
That's absolutely terrible.
Right?
Well, I mean, I can't even get to a misdemeanor trial anymore, man. Everything goes away, except for the super nasty ones where, you know, fine.
Yeah.
Like, fine, you got him. We're going to do this, which is good, and we fight it all the way. Sometimes you play for the fumble, you know. I was talking to jurors in one of our last D-dubs. I had them kind of hung up on operation, which, you know, he said he liked.
Usually a hard issue to play
right.
with.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know, but I ended up losing that anyways. Okay, hey, Justin Harris, Adam Corral, Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, Reasonable Doubt. That's a wrap for this week. Houston Media Source, Mark Pirtle. Houston Media Source, Mark Pirtle. What'd you say, Jay?
Yo, Mark.
Thank y'all.
So we still might be hot.
Yeah.
Thank you.